This year, I'm very proud to dedicate our program to all veterans. Whether it was 2 years or 22 years, these brave men and women left home to serve our nation in the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. They sacrificed their time and many times their lives so that we as a nation could remain the land of the free, because we are the home of the brave. So today, as we honor our fallen heroes, I ask that you take a minute to thank a vet for their service and their sacrifice.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
This is Second Lieutenant Thelma Pauli Saunier, or Saunier. I actually have to confess I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I only know her all the time when she shows up at the Museum of Thelma. But she was a U.S. Army nurse serving in France in World War II. One of many women from Alliance who served in the Second World War. Dozens of women from Alliance served as nurses in the Army and the Navy. As I mentioned, there was one that was in the Women Air Force WASPs. Many women from Alliance that served with distinction. Now, that's a little bit of how women served in World War II. And I want to reflect a little bit now and have a bit of an attitude check. Mary Kay mentioned something earlier that's very apropos. After the Vietnam War, veterans who served their country came back and were dissed. They were ignored. Many of them were ridiculed. And one of the things that I think the Vietnam War has taught us as a society is we can disagree with the policy, but we still need to serve those or honor those who have served. So you may agree with having women in the military, you may disagree. You may agree with having women in combat, you may disagree. But I want to encourage all of us to agree to honor those who have worn the uniform with honor and served our country, regardless of whether you agree with the war itself and policy or what have you. Which brings us to today. In Iraq and Afghanistan, women have served with distinction. Last count that I saw in Iraq and Afghanistan, there were 800 women that have been wounded. Among them is a young lady I know from Jackson Township, who is a young blonde girl serving in the Army in Iraq, driving truck when an improvised explosive device went off, partly blinding her and impairing her night vision so she couldn't drive truck anymore. She finished her tour of duty as a machine gunner in Iraq. One of 800 women from the United States that were wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then also there were 139 women, the last I saw, that have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. Many of you know First Lieutenant Ashley White Stump, who was killed by an IED in 2011. She's just one of many women who lost their lives in those two conflicts. So today, with a little bit of background about World War II, but bringing it kind of up to date, I want to encourage you, honor those men and women who have served in uniform. This Memorial Day, let us respect those, regardless of their gender, who have served our country well and served our country honorably. Thank you.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce hurt amid the guns below.
Dear Mom and Pop and Mame, well, I finally made it to Vietnam. We left last Sunday about 1 o'clock in the morning and flew for almost 20 hours. We stopped in Hawaii and in the Philippines. We arrived Monday afternoon. They lost a day when they passed the international date line, about 2 in the afternoon. We were on this big BI jet, and just as we started to fly over Vietnam, somebody said, "There's a fire on the plane." I was sleeping at the time. I jumped up and said to Paul, "It's all over," and we never reached Vietnam. Well, it turned out to be just a small fire in the back of the plane. For about 10 seconds, I was ready to meet my maker.